I didn't know what was happening to me. Thought I was going to die.
He kept saying to us, I have no idea what this is.
I've never seen this before. I've never heard of this before.
We don't know what's wrong with you.
Dark and not seeing any light of recovery.
We have, I think, a horrible epidemic. When enough people are sick, it's going to be who's answering for this, what did you know, when did you know it?
What kind of a breakdown or series of breakdowns in the medical system can lead to a setting where you have an illness and people walking into their average doctor's offices may or may not be likely to get effective treatment for it?
I would never have thought that a bacteriological infection producing the havoc that it produces can become so politicized. The truth can be so brutally distorted.
When we moved to where we are now, and people we bought the house from said to us, be careful of Lyme disease, and then we met all the neighbors. Every house, for sure, had at least one case, and many houses had, all of the family had been infected. All of them were sick.
Are you able to stand up, honey? Alright, I'm going to shut this off so we can take you back in the house, okay?
Good,
All the articles basically state that this really isn't that big of an epidemic and that it doesn't really do that much to your body. And that it's just a very easy, quick cure. A couple weeks of antibiotics and you're good to go. Obviously, those people haven't actually seen what it does.
Pain, pain, pain. Relentless pain. No one would believe it. I said to my best friend, I said, look at me right now. Look at me. What do I look like? And he said, you look great. I said, you cannot imagine the pain in my body right now.
My case was sort of cut and dry. A, I was a park ranger. B, I knew exactly when I was bitten and I saved a tick and brought it to my doctor. C, I had a red rash. And D, I had a rather classic case of neurological Lyme disease with all the usual trimmings. But I brought all that to the doctors, and it took 5 doctors to figure it out.
I don't think you're sick. I don't think there's anything wrong with you.
Everybody's telling you it's in your head. You know it's not in your head.
We don't think there's anything wrong with you.
There is nothing wrong.
We've done your labs. Your labs are fine. You're fine.
There's no medicine for someone like you. You're an attractive girl, and obviously you don't feel like you're getting enough attention. This is my adrenaline now. So if you want to see me get worse, I'll just do one length, not even a lap. Half a length. I'll have to be hauled out. Like the catch of the day.
She's become very, very good at hiding symptoms. It doesn't matter how bad she is. I mean, the girl cannot get out of bed, and her catchphrase is, "I'll do it myself."
I can do it myself.
That's right. I mean, she can do it. I can go grab something in 30 seconds, or she can take 4 hours to crawl across the house, and she will not let me go get it.
I know what my bad days are like, and I do my best to try to prevent them. So to know that I could get worse, that's not something I'm looking forward to. The unknown is pretty scary.
I live on the west side of the northern Sierra Nevada in California. I'm a writer now. I was a park ranger for 21 years until I got Lyme disease and had to quit. It began with profound fatigue. Then I developed stabbing and shooting pains. I started having vision problems, blurred vision, and then came the memory loss and the cognitive problems. And once I drove to my office, a place I'd commuted to for 13 years, and stopped on the way home and called my wife on the cell phone and told her that I wasn't sure I could find my way home. I just wasn't in good enough shape to drive. Couldn't remember how to do it. If I hadn't had any kids, I might have killed myself. My life was so uncomfortable to be in that I don't know that I would have wanted to be here had I not had stronger family connections, you know, kept me here.
I'm an event producer for U2 shows on tour. I get to do the VIP parties for all the band's guests. I've loved this band since I was a kid. I mean, I had the freaking personalized license plate. Everybody's in survival mode on tour. It's insane. It's completely insane. The hardest thing is everybody thinks I'm normal. At home, I was in bed feeling just so sick and just searing pain. It got worse and worse, and I started having pretty bad neurological problems. I got to the point of just do or die, just go for something instead of sitting in my room, rotting in my bed.
Over the last 12 years, I've been diagnosed off and on with lupus, chronic fatigue syndrome, Crohn's disease,
Fibromyalgia.
Lupus, fibromyalgia, MS,
fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis.
Doctors thought I had ADD.
Chronic fatigue syndrome.
Chronic fatigue syndrome.
Parkinson's disease.
syphilis, multiple sclerosis.
MS to ALS to nothing.
They were pulling anything out of their hat they could think of.
Doctor after doctor after doctor after doctor after doctor, misdiagnosing her, putting her on some medication that didn't work, and just thought we were both nuts.
There's evidence that Lyme disease has been around for a long time. But here in the United States, it was the early 1970s when a Connecticut mom looked around her neighborhood and noticed something was not quite right.
Well, I was frightened, really, and doctors, were insinuating that it was all in my head. In the 70s, we were all having strange symptoms, headaches and stiff neck and swollen joints. As I looked around the neighborhood, I realized that there were others that were having swollen knees and rashes. Finally, when our